think it is time for NXT to take over.
Suplex City, bitch.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
I told my father I'm gonna set up my own lucha league in America, and I'm gonna make it the best league in the world.
I'm gonna leave him in a pile of blood and urine and vomit.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast review Monday Night Raw and give all you guys the beautiful wrestling news of the week. The man who has allowed you into this hall of wrestling talk, this forum if you will, is myself. My name is Turbo Tony, here every single week. And I'm here with a man who, well, what can I say? He's never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. He'll watch Big Show turn, and it hurts him. It's Matt Marsander. You just got Rick rolled.
I don't know.
Yeah. How can you handle that? So early on the podcast, no less.
Dirty now.
Dirty, yeah, that's right. How you doing, Matt?
I was doing fine until then. Well, I'm all good.
And now I'm leaving. Disconnect's cool. Yeah.
That's it. I've got no real complaints.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Yes, this is one of our earlier in the week recordings for people that don't know. So if there's a few questions that get left, and they're not answered, that's the reason why. They'll get answered in due time, probably on the episode after. Matt, if the fans of ours want to follow us on Twitter, what is the Twitter handle?
On the Twitter, it'd be at TalkWrestlePod.
At TalkWrestlePod. You can't act too much like Chris Jericho. He might, might get annoyed with us like he did Dean Ambrose. So, and then not show up the night after. But obviously we'll get into that. Yes, obviously you want to follow our Twitter shenanigans on that particular handle. That is the one to do. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you've heard, may have said it once or twice, the Let's Talk Wrestling t-shirts are up for grab. That's right. I have updated the design so it looks better than it did before, and Matt will tell you it looked pretty fly to begin with. So awesome stuff. Not quite ready to release it. Next episode is 95. I may release a picture of it then and let you guys know, what the t-shirt looks like. And just so you don't get jealous about that shirt, there is a way you can win it. And that is by making your own introduction to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, sending it to us on our email address, letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you win, you'll get that shirt. That beautiful, beautiful shirt. That'll be all yours for free. No questions asked. And if you're good but not quite number one, then you may even get some extra Let's Talk Wrestling merchandise. And by the way, I showed Matt some of the merchandise, and I think it will fit quite well with the amount of people that are raging about the way Raw is at the moment. So it may help you out. I'll leave it at that, shall I? Don't want to let too much. That's a pretty big hint.
It's a good helping tool.
Good helping tool to help you get through these particular Raws that we're going through at the moment. So yeah, that's all the plugging I have to do. We're still also marching up to episode 400, and once we do, by the way, we will celebrate along with that. And obviously episode 100 is coming on the way. Myself and Matt so busy preparing things for that special show, and it's going to be a celebration of all the hard work and dedication we've done over almost 2 years now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we have some good news this week, but I will leave it till last on our news section. Before we get to the news, of course, just want to run down what we have on the show for you guys this, I was about to say this evening, but you guys can watch the show whenever you like, so it might be the morning, I don't know. In fact, most of our fans are American, so most of them do end up, I end up recording it in the morning. No, sorry, uploading it in the morning in Ireland, which is like 4 o'clock in the morning for our US guys, so yeah, there you go. So yeah, we've got our news, some interesting news to be talking about this week. We've got some interesting fan feedback, a lot of fan feedback over the last episode, especially coming hot off the heels of Night of Champions. We also have our NXT report card where we will be talking about the debuting Asuka. I think that's how they're spelling her or saying her name now. I know I'm going to get it wrong, guys. It's going to happen, but still. But we'll talk about her there. And we've got a Raw review, which obviously we'll be talking about and reviewing what happened on this week's Raw. Heading now onto the train to Hell in a Cell, which I'm sure The Miz is ecstatic about. Yeah. You know now what he'll say is that he'll say now, talking about a promo, he'll say TLC instead of Hell in a Cell, which will be his new thing. You know. So, Matt, are you ready to start off this show? No more procrastinating.
All set.
Let's do it. So the news this week. I don't know if you guys have known, the Raw ratings are in the shitter. It's official. Well, we knew this anyway, but it continues to get bad. And we've heard lots of reports over the course of this week that Vince McMahon is blowing a gasket, freaking his nut out, if you will, due to the ratings that have just been horrendous. They've been truly awful for the show. And, I mean, the rating for this week's Raw was down from last week's Raw, and that wasn't much of an improvement on the Raw beforehand, which was one of the lowest ratings of Raw in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So. I mean, we said this before, Matt. We said this. This should be a warning to Vince that the show, unfortunately, for at very least a noticeable now amount of fans, it's become missable, right? Too many missable 3-hour shows. I mean, there's been a lot of people. I'm sure there's people that listen to our podcast that don't watch all of Raw. You know, that's just the way it is. We've said before.
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them. Right, 3 hours. Like I said, 3 hours for the Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings being the most celebrated, you know, like 3 hour of it, you know, entertainment format.
3 hour anything.
Anything, yeah. Right? Even then, right, to big hardcore fans of that genre, like Matt is, right, 3 hours tends to get a bit long once you get to the end of it. And that's at its very best.
Yeah.
At its very worst, it can be downright painful. Now, Matt, I think this has got something down. Obviously, NFL is back. NBA is coming back.
Yep.
It's going to get worse. Once NBA comes...
I want to remind you that they have more fans.
Yeah.
All these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's along the lines that, like, they've gotten away with doing what they have. You know, they've had this long hangover, and they've had this general consensus of, you know, there's so many issues with the show. Me and Matt could do like an extra episode listing down all the core issues with the show. You know, consistency, inconsequential matches, characters with no development, etc. There's just a whole list of these core issues with the show. But they've gotten away with it because it's been the sports off season. Now they're getting their asses kicked, and rightly so. So it comes to a point where you think that it's WWE, in a sense, reaping what they sow. Yeah, like I firmly believe that the Raw ratings being in such a bad state at the moment is not due just to one bad show. It's due to the fact that fans now
don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing in WWE that is must see, as much as Miz might try and tell us that he is. He certainly isn't, right? There's nothing that excites fans, you know, the way we talked last week about Goldberg. Remember Goldberg coming back? The thrill of him coming up and standing against The Rock? I was watching some, you know, stuff within, like, you know, the 90s earlier on the network. Just the excitement, the stars they had back then. You could list them off. Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan. You know, they had Ric Flair in WWE for a certain period of time. Then you had the emerging stars, The Rock, Austin, Shawn Michaels. What do you have now? You have John Cena.
Yeah.
But eventually, you have Seth Rollins, who's supposed to be the new star of the show, and he's overexposed. So now people don't want to see him. And it's not his fault. He's doing fantastic. But doesn't matter how good you are, right? Sometimes less is more, right? You know? So, I mean, what do you think, Matt? What do you think is the main issues with the show? Why do you think that these ratings have taken such a dramatic nosedive?
I guess it's really the only thing. Like, the only thing you can put it down to is the fact they want to remind us, it's like, hey, we've got more fans in the NFL than the NBA. It's like, yeah, but now that they're back, they're all over you.
Yeah, right. WWE would kill for some of the ratings that the foot, you know, the NFL or the NBA would probably get, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, like I said, like, Vince may look at it as if, oh, we're not in competition with them. You are, because it's not the show, it's not wrestling that you're competing with. It's a demographic that you
Well,
want.
if anything, it's like, oh, we're not competing with them because they're not wrestling. It's like you are, because they're in your times, like, not necessarily in the time slot, but it's just sort of like, if I've got 3 hours to spend on a sport, I'm going to watch a sport.
Yeah, right. It's just the bottom line of it, right? And like I said, WWE could beat these, because they've got the opportunity of, sometimes sport matches they blow out. City today, my city, Manchester City, they killed Sunderland within 30 minutes. They scored 4 goals, the match was dead. There's no point watching the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have that, right? So wrestling in general has the up hand of, well, it's scripted, right? So it should have the upper hand, and obviously now it kind of doesn't, right? They've had so many issues. So I'm sure Vince McMahon maybe has gone all this time thinking everything's okay. Now he's seen these numbers. I want Vince McMahon to freak out. I want him to be shouting at people, because there comes a point sometimes with me and Matt, like, listen, I don't think a lot of people understand this in general, but if the show, some people may say, oh, you rag on Raw a lot. You just want Raw to be bad so you can rag on it. Here's the newsflash. The better Raw is, the more viewers we get on our show. Because if people are interested, people will sort out podcasts to talk about what happened, right? So we want Raw to be mind-blowing each week. It's beneficial to us. We can only call it as it is, and it hasn't. Right? And I think it's very indicative. I think maybe myself and Matt will go through, when we get a free week, go through all the core storyline issues that Raw has, and how much better off they can be if they amend those certain things, right? The constant rematches that they have, the you have a win, I have a win philosophy, which I don't like.
Yeah.
It's very counterintuitive. Sometimes WWE is fighting against itself, excuse me. So, yeah. Hopefully this will lead to Vince trying something new. Just listen, even if it's not, you don't think it's groundbreaking, you just have to shake it up a bit. Make something, change the format of the show. It's become too formulaic. What do we expect now? A promo to start off the show, then a match, which, will last for a certain period of time, then a backstage segment with Seth Rollins and the Authority. We can call it before it happens. That shouldn't, what's the thing of anything can happen in the WWE? Except we can call what happens before it happens. That's one of the issues with Raw. I'm looking through I was literally looking through Raw here. That's exactly what happens on Raw. We have a segment which, granted, goes into a brawl, and I think on this one it goes into, then it's there's always a segment within the first 20 minutes of Seth Rollins backstage with the Authority. It always happens, always. It's without question. I mean, this week it was with Kane. But I mean, he's still playing up this part of the Authority. People know what I'm understanding here. It's not a backstage segment in that fucking office, right? So, yeah, it's an issue with Raw. And I don't know about you, Matt, but I get the feeling that possibly you start moving away from the Authority being the main focus of the show, and you need to make a different turn. You need to go in a different direction. Matt, this is my piece of advice. One piece of advice. I literally just thought of it, and it's something I said before. WWE needs to bring back #1 contendership matches.
I can completely agree with that.
Yeah. Because, listen, if Kane becomes the #1 contender, which it looks like he is, let's be honest, right? That means you had Kane, who didn't wrestle a match to become the #1 contender. He just was. He just came back.
Just is now.
Sting just stole Rollins' statue. That got him a title match, right? Didn't wrestle a match beforehand to earn that shot.
Yeah.
John Cena, yeah, you can get away with it for a little bit because he was putting his own title on the line, but even still, right, it's just a random title match with no one earning that shot. WWE could do a lot better if they have these Raw matches saying, Kane against whoever else you want to like heel, Bray Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
And you could even have it so Kane doesn't, if you want to protect the heel, like fine, but Kane still gets the victory in some manner, okay? But that #1 contendership match, you can build around that show. We're going to find out who's the #1 contender for the World Championship. That is an important match rather than all these random matches. The Dudley Boys, right? Yeah, they got a pinfall victory over the champions, but they didn't win like a number. You could easily have them have a #1 contendership match with primetime players, right? But they didn't. They just got given their title shot. That's part of the issue that I think. There's too many matches that don't mean anything. That's roughly what I know there.
I mean, the only thing recently where we've had a number one contender is because we had that beat the clock challenge for the Divas title.
Yeah, right.
And that's probably the only thing recently that's been it.
And bearing in mind that comes off the fact that Nikki hadn't defended her title in months before that. Right.
That's true.
So is there anything else you want to talk about the Raw ratings at the moment before we move on?
No.
So we move on to Raw ratings being bad to a man who is a moron. Oh yes, and we're not talking about Vince McMahon. We're talking about a fan that jumped not the railing, but the crowd divider at Night of Champions. We didn't actually talk about this at our review. Matt reminded me afterwards. I was like, bollocks. But still, it's good to talk about it now, considering what happened because of it. So basically, this guy jumped out from the crowd, stood next to the Shield, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and acted as if he was basically their third man. And quickly, he was shuffled off, but he managed to get into the ring, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's an issue. So that's 3 incidents within a very enclosed time, 2 within a week of people being able to jump over that barricade.
Well, to be fair, that's only 3 within as many weeks. Like the guy that tried... are you referring to the guy who tried to attack Ambrose?
Yeah, and then
then we got the dreadlock guy who decided he'd be J&J Part 2.
Yeah. And then obviously this guy now who thought he was a member of the Shield, right? He even came out dressed like one, right? So it's obviously transpired here that, the hearing went through pretty quickly. He's been jailed. Yeah. The man who has jumped that barricade, he will spend 10 days in prison for his actions. I say that's too little time. That's my personal opinion with it. I know, prisons being overcrowded. We're not a political podcast here, but I honestly think that you need to set a precedent. You need to, they need to stop this. It's happening more and more and more.
Yeah.
All it takes is one guy who doesn't, these guys just wanted to become a little bit famous for a little while. They wanted to be on camera. They wanted to be in the ring, right? They meant no harm, okay? All you need is one person who does mean harm. And then there could be a very, very tragic incident happening, yeah? Like a stabbing, okay? That could happen. There's no way getting around it.
I think one thing that, Jericho likes to refer to it a lot, to mention Jericho again, but he mentions it with regards to the Pantera guitarist Dimebag Darrell, who got stabbed on stage.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of thing where it's just sort of like, it's all well and good. Like, you think, oh, he's just a fan, but could genuinely be out to cause you harm.
Yeah. Like, guess what makes you like this guy coming in? He had his face on TV for a little bit. Some wrestling podcasts like us are talking about him, and he's been jailed, whatever. I guess he got what he wanted, right? Some guy who decides, you know what, I'm going to make myself really famous. I'm going to kill one of these people in the ring, and everyone will remember me. Some sickos think like that, right? We only have to think back to the guy hanging around, the developmental facility, and then he got shot, right? Some of these people will try and make a name of themselves by hurting others. It's just the way it is. Especially, they are celebrities, right? All celebrities have this problem. So the security has to start waking up a little bit, because this has happened way too often, right? I'm not sure. I don't know enough, Matt. Maybe you do. Whether it's the WWE security or if it's the arena security. I would imagine it's probably arena security. I don't know enough about that, to be honest. In fact, I should, but I don't.
I reckon it is. I'm pretty sure it's arena security.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure WWE doesn't have a dedicated team of people.
Of security personnel, yeah.
Yeah, of dedicated security personnel.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be too much money for them to do in these arenas. For instance, when we went to the O2 to watch Raw, right? It wasn't WWE's people that were chauffeuring people around. It was the O2's people.
Yeah.
It's their responsibility that housing the show to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as it does. And, you're drawing in these things. So I imagine it is arena security that's been doing this. So maybe either WWE needs to look into rectifying this issue, hiring their own security team, something along these lines, because like I said, all you need is one person to do this. It's going to be so tragic, and then by then it'll be too late to change it.
Yeah.
That's my main warning with it. Because I believe me, guys, trust me. The more that the attention gets given on these people, that's why I kind of feel bad for covering it. The more attention that gets given on these people, the more of these twisted individuals will think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're both metal fans, and like it's the band Disturbed did a song which was Legion of Monsters, and it's essentially the story of what could happen, which is sort of like you take the murderer and you stick his face everywhere. Nobody knows the victim; they only remember who did it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're looking for, right? And I remember looking at like he's a game YouTuber, Total Biscuit. He did one about gaming, and it was a lot about how media companies follow murders and stuff like this. Is that they glorify the killer? They put his name, what he was wearing, what he liked, what he played, what he read the day that he did it, what guns he had, and there's not anything said about the victims.
He woke up at 7:30 in the morning, took a piss, and had a bowl of cereal.
Yeah,
that cereal brand was, it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly right. Now we can tell you exclusive. We can tell you the exact color of brown that he shat on that morning. We've managed to locate it. Yeah. It's like, what is going? You've given him. You've made him infamous, and this is the part of the issue that kind of goes with this. People may think we may be going a little bit too forward, but believe me, like, it's an issue that WWE needs to take more seriously, because it could happen, and even if it doesn't, the fact it could is warning enough. So, they need to give their wrestlers peace of mind. This happened. Yeah. See, it always seems to be fucking Roman Reigns, the Shield guys. Jesus, yeah, it's you had Ambrose, then you had Rollins, who was walking down, had that there, and then they had Ambrose and Reigns. Something about
Shield 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, people might want to join them. Jeez. Although that bit out Night of Champions was a bit funny, because Bray Wyatt looked at the guy and was like, "That's your third man," just started laughing. So he was so quick off the bat thinking of that. So that was awesome. So we go from that.
And that's why Bray's a genius.
Yeah, it's a shame that anything he does doesn't matter, which is a shame. But
yeah,
never said I don't like the guy. So this leads to the best news of all. Oh yes, you've been waiting for it, and I have an announcement on this show regarding it. Matt, you may not even know this. We talked about it generally, but I made a decision. Lucha Underground will have a season 2, and it will air next year. Everyone, let's celebrate. Just pick up a closest alcoholic beverage you have, drink it, and celebrate along with us. Because, fucking hell, this is like the best news I had all week. Right?
Yeah.
Me and Matt have been sharing. I shared a picture with Matt about us planning it. It's just Dario Cueto and Conan just plotting and everything. Yeah, it's awesome. This is what I want to say to our fans. Right, we're lucky that we're getting season 2. Right, I don't think it was ever in their thoughts that it would get Lucha Underground would get the following it did. Either would it, be able to even have a season 2. I don't know if that was even in their plans, right?
Yeah.
So, in this season, go out and tell people, right? It's only then I realised how little people know about Lucha Underground when I went over to see Matt and I was talking to a few people and they had absolutely no clue what Lucha Underground was about. So it was like, just watch these matches, they're fantastic, get into the show.
I think a lot of the problem with Lucha is its exposure, especially on the international scale. Like, you've got to be like a proper wrestling fan to know. I was about to say to care. It sounds really terrible to say about like another thing, especially something that's not globally marketed.
Yeah, no, I get you. You have to put effort in to find Lucha Underground and watch it. The effort is well played, but most people don't, right? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, like we got mates who would literally just go, I don't know WWE, I know TNA.
Yeah, right.
They were like, they're on our channels. Like, I see an advert for a WWE pay-per-view once a month.
Yeah, I mean, they can series link them, right? It's all about convenience, right? And even if it's not on, English televisions, right, or in my case, Irish televisions, right, is that, they're missing out on people there, because I do think, I don't know the details. I don't know if they got the money they wanted. Remember, they were holding out to get more funds for season 2. They want this to be bigger and bigger than bigger and better. Than they've ever done before. They want to make Lucha Underground 2 better than Season 1, and Season 1 was great, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they got a higher deal. I don't know whether they secured rights to international distribution of their product, which is, if they have, fantastic. It means it's much easier for me and Matt to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all up in the air, right? But hopefully more news will come about this. All we know is literally just a tweet let out on their main Twitter handle, just saying we're coming back. That's all we know. We don't know anything about the actual...
Coming 2016. It's like... Ooh.
Like, the one thing I don't want to hear is if they hold out for more money, they didn't get it, so they had to settle with El Rey. I mean, I'm sure they will be on El Rey, but they had to settle with El Rey's lower offer, which is not what they wanted, or the same offer.
That's it.
I want them to get everything that they want, because ultimately I think it will lead to a very entertaining show on a weekly basis. So this is my announcement for the show, and I was planning on bringing this up at episode 100, but I'm so excited and I want to announce it here on the show. Season 2 is coming out. I don't know about Matt, but I can fully confirm that at very least myself, and I think mostly it'll be myself, Matt's a very busy man and we do the podcasts, there will be at very least a 20-minute review of Lucha Underground's episode on a weekly basis on this show. So we had that question before. If it starts up again, would we review it? We thought about, I personally thought about it a lot, and I said, yes, sure, let's do it. I want to do a lot more content going from LTW 100, and more time has come up in my schedule on my mornings. So yeah, you can confirm it here. When Season 2 starts up back again, I will go through whatever channels I need to, and Lucha Underground will be reviewed.
I will get it.
Yeah. And it will be a separate video. I don't know any name of like the series or reviewing it. No idea. It'll probably just be LTW Lucha review or something. I don't know. If you come up with a good idea, leave it in the comments. I'll definitely take it on board. So yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, if Matt's around and we're gaming overnight, like I said, it's only 20 minutes, and if we've watched it, then Matt will get on it. But I can definitely guarantee that at very least solo, I will be doing the Lucha Underground reviews for you guys. So, big news. There you go. We were going to announce that LTW 100, but it's just a thing now. I just like, especially with Lucha coming back, it's like WWE with the way it's been. I need to review Lucha now, right? It's become like, it's not like I do want to, but it's like now I need it as part of my week, so I'll be doing that on a weekly basis. So that'll be awesome. I mean, I know Matt, you'll try and catch it whenever you can, just because
catch Lucha. Just
because you love it anyway. It doesn't have to do anything to do with doing the podcast, right? So. Hopefully they get that international distribution, because I'm sure they're missing out on fans in the UK at the very least. That's got some very hungry wrestling fans. They just need to know that it exists, right? That's the thing. So big news there. I'm sure you guys we got excited about that. I can't remember offhand. I do apologise who asked us, but I'm sure that you're probably quite happy with that particular announcement. Matt, is there any other news that you caught throughout this week that you might want to... Any announcements of yourself? Maybe you want to review TNA on a weekly basis?
No.
No?
But as a piece of news, I did actually watch some TNA recently.
Wow.
There was nothing on TV.
Oh, okay. Was it good?
It was the Global Force versus TNA Lethal Lockdown match.
Okay.
Which... I don't know.
Okay.
Really? I'm trying to remember who was in it now. Right, so on Team TNA, Galloway, Lashley, the Wolves, and a mystery partner, which ended up being Bram.
Okay.
Against...
I hope he's re-signed with the company.
Against Jarrett Masters. I can't remember what he's going under now.
Oh, really? I didn't realise he was with them. Okay, yeah, go on.
Yeah. And... 3 other... Oh, no. EY. Eric Young turned tail and joined Global Force.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And then 2 other people that I just did not know.
I mean, how long ago? That was taped fucking months ago, and they're doing that now. That's crazy.
As well was on Challenge, so, yeah.
I don't know whether it's a
I watched the Fatal 4-Way women's knockout match as well, and that was...
That's the frustrating thing, though, about TNA, and I know we talked about it a lot last week, but it's along the lines of, yeah, the in-ring is fine. It's actually not bad. It's just all the decisions that TNA make behind the scenes that kills the company. So, like I said, I feel bad for their talent because they can go out there and kill themselves. It doesn't make a lick of difference if the person making all the calls is basically Dixie Carter, right? Because that's essentially what it is. So. But no, you won't be reviewing TNA on a weekly basis, no? No solo reviews? No. I mean, I'm sure that the ending of that particular thing, is just you just looking at the camera and just, just going...
Well, that happened.
Yeah. And I'm going to shoot myself. Yeah, that's the way. So, shall we get into our fan feedback, Matt?
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's do that. So Alex from Wrestling Boom asks, what is our favourite Jeff Hardy match of all time? I did not have to think about this one. Surprisingly, the answer came to me very quickly. And first off, I thought of the match I'm going to pick, but then I thought maybe of one of his matches with CM Punk. I think he had like a really good match. I don't know whether it was in a cage or anything, but I remember that being very good. He had a very good series of matches with CM Punk. This is Punk Punk back with his shoulder length hair and and all that stuff, right? For the world title, that's when he was ripping up SmackDown, if you remember, and doing all the stuff with Triple H and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I went for, and I wonder, Matt, whether you went for the same thing. And all I'll say is, climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous. The ladder match between Jeff Hardy and Undertaker for the World Championship on Raw, which coins that famous statement from
that's true.
From JR. You go back and watch that. It's because obviously Hardy is the underdog, right? Undertaker back then was a heel, right? He just didn't have any respect or love for anyone. He was just, I'm champion. I'm gonna punch your fucking face in. Deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And
I can completely agree with that decision, actually.
Because I'm sure that he's obviously had more extreme and mental matches. I mean, we're talking about a person that has done just absolutely ridiculous stuff in his career. I'm sure he's had good matches in TNA as well. But in terms of raw emotion, for getting so excited and going, literally making you shout at your TV, come on, do it. Just do it. Get up that fucking ladder. Grab that championship. At the time, everyone was doing that. Everyone was on Jeff Hardy's side. They all wanted him to cause the upset of the century and win the title. And JR's commentary is obviously fucking brilliant throughout the course of that match. Because I did go back and watch it. He's just fantastic. And you've even got Lawler, who back then, would often cheer for the heels. Even he's just like, he's going to do it. I cannot believe it. Come on, do it. Come on, just do it. Everyone was, getting so behind and just so much raw emotion. And obviously, Undertaker did eventually win the match. But there's that really cool moment where they shake hands afterwards, which was something quite rare for Undertaker's character in that time. So he earned Undertaker's respect. And I think that was a massive jumping. That was an awesome moment for him and his career. That's what made him transcend being the tag team star he was and become something a little bit better going forward. So, would you go with that match?
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. I mean, that was also the one where it was fabled that afterwards, Taker was just do with this sort of little you did good, kid sort of thing.
Yeah. It's honestly, guys, you've got the network, right? So go back and watch it. It is so much fun, and the match recaptures. It's one of those rare matches. Sometimes you can watch a match that you got really into, and you just you're like, oh, okay, it was awesome back then. I'm not really that much into it now because I know the finish, right? These are one of these matches that you go back and watch, and you can't help but feel yourself just kind of get back into the feel of it again. You're like, come on, even though you know he doesn't make it. The fans getting up on their seat cheering Hardy, just amazing, awesome stuff.
I think even the one I still think is it's a bit bad considering you're just favourite Hardy match. It's well, does any of the TLC matches count? He was in them.
Well, I guess so. Some of them are masterpieces, but I think I picked this one because it's more on his shoulders rather
more
than
of the
father.
singles side of things.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, awesome stuff. That's
my favourite Jeff Hardy match was Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory?
When he was off his face.
You mean Victory Road?
Oh, was it Victory Road?
Victory Road 2011, oh yeah. The one where Sting looked at him like...
Some TNA pay-per-view.
Yeah. Now that was a match, wasn't it, not? Well, I think that's the only thing we can say about it. It was a match.
It happened.
It happened.
There was a bell.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there was a 3 count, and sure, that can constitute as a match. Let's slowly tiptoe away from this for Hardy's sake. I'm sure we have talked about that on Fade of the Week before. So, Lost Project asks if can we have WWE 2K16 gameplay over the podcast for episode 100. He has seen my gaming channel, that's the Turbo Tony gaming channel, which I don't do much on anymore. And he says, obviously, that he's seen that I've done stuff like that before. Just a little bit of FYI, the very first few taster episodes of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast was on that gaming channel. I don't post on it at all anymore. And back then, Matt will remember, we had gaming footage on the background of every single one of those episodes.
Yeah.
Obviously, we chose to go away from that because we wanted to be more podcasty, if that's a word. We wanted people to be able to turn on the YouTube channel, go and game, and not have to have it up to watch it. Just listens in the background, or on their phone wherever they're going. If they're doing stuff like that. So, and one of the other things as well, which Matt may not particularly know, rendering those episodes took almost 5 times the amount of time that it does to render the videos that we do now. Because obviously it's just a still image, so all it's rendering is just the video and and the audio, which doesn't take that long. So I can roughly render in around about an hour on a 2-hour podcast. Back then it would take more like 5-6 hours. So for the time frame that we have, it's just not possible. Being said, there's one thing, even despite all that is stopping it, which is 2K are not doing a PC port yet, and I only record on PC. I did a few things on 360, but my capture card isn't very good, and I went back and tried to do some, I think this was like 6 months ago, just randomly, and man, it just wasn't the quality that I liked. So I've got the PC recording equipment, and who knows, I might do more gaming stuff down the line. How I might even just me and Matt might get inspired and say, we just do a few games on the side. But if we do, it won't be on this channel, but I can always put a link and show people what we did and stuff like that. But no, I think for episode 100, we appreciate the question, obviously, and obviously the request, but I think it's more likely that we'll stick to the regular format. But we may change our mind, but I think that's more likely that we'll stick to what we're going with. It's going to have a new graphic and everything for 100 anyway, so that should be fun. So, is there anything else you want to say about that?
No, I got nothing to add.
I am planning on getting 2K16, but the issue is I looked at it, and on Xbox 360 it doesn't even have the career mode. So it did it the same. 2K do this with their games, that it's only like, but for next gen consoles we get career mode, and it's like, but that's the mode that everyone wants to play. So there's no point in me even picking up on Xbox because it's not the one I want. So I just have to wait for it to come out on PC and see where it goes there. So. Who knows? I may even do a review and put it up on the channel when it comes out on PC if I pick it up. But that they left it like 6 months after the game came out on console to do it on PC. So I don't even know, even if they have any desire to do so again. Don't know. Apologies if I screw the hell out of this name. I can best say it is BX Girl HS. Apologies. I don't know if there's a better way to say that. I don't know. Left a bunch of comments regarding their thoughts on Raw and NXT, mostly about the women and the women's, the Divas Revolution and all that sort of stuff. There's not so much a question here, but I just wanted to let yourself know that we read and appreciated the comments. And most of the stuff that you're saying there, we do agree with the way that's going on. Cappuccino 80 advises us that Alexa Bliss is not in WWE 2K16. So I wanted to bring this back up. We are certainly not afraid to go over old news things that possibly we have gotten some of the facts wrong. We don't shy away from anything like that. We've had people, talk to us before about certain things. Of course we'll bring up, we're man enough to take it. I know Matt might be Are you crying right now that we got it wrong? Are you?
I may shed a small tear. Small manly tear.
Yeah, just looking in the mirror and not even looking like you're crying, just a small tear, solitary tear rolls down in disappointment. That's
all it is.
And it's just me going to drink and drugs to calm the pain. I do appreciate making it seem I could come off really sort of.
I was going to say, you sound like a real sarcastic prick.
Yeah, I do. I don't honestly. I don't mean it that way. Honestly, great that you called it for us. And when I went to look at it, yeah, you're completely right here. She's not in the game. It was a a fake release that was done just when the game was announced that said these 5 wrestlers will be in 2K16. The other 4, I believe, are in the game because they were more general, like John Cena, blah, 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 right? And the other one was Alexa Bliss. So I naturally assumed... I mean, if you go to our defense, right? So if you go to 2K's official website for the game, if you go to roster list, they don't... It's like split into like 5 different forum posts. So even then, on their own website, I couldn't find a good list. I went onto their wiki, couldn't find a good list, so I had to go onto third-party sites, and clearly one of these third-party sites had Alexa Bliss as one of the people in it. So how does that change our feelings in it? It still sucks, but it makes a lot more sense now, because we said before that maybe they had made a concerted effort to just in general leave out all of the NXT divas, and we said, well, that's weird considering she was in the game, now she isn't. Just because it makes more sense doesn't mean it doesn't suck as much. It's not as bizarre anymore, right?
Yeah.
The decision. So, thanks for bringing that up. I'm sure that people will be doing the community creations and creating them, but still, it's just a little bit sad that these girls didn't make it into the final cut of the game. They fucking better do in the next one, and they better fucking put career mode on the last gen console ports, because that is fucking ridiculous. But Are you planning on getting the game at all? I mean, you're not getting...
I'm really not. I mean, I picked up 2K14 and I was sort of like, I played a little bit. I still have given up.
Yeah, I still have WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2011. I know that's a fuck old game now, but I go back and play it every now and then. I'm just like, it's fine. I don't have an issue with it, right? It gives me my wrestling fix. I can create wrestlings on it and shit, so...
That's it.
Maybe along those lines. And like I said, the career mode may have drawn me to it, but guess what? It's not on there. It's not on for Xbox 360. Yeah. I have no intention of getting a Xbox One because myself and Matt have pretty hefty computers. We're not shelling out for a next-gen console. That's just the way it is. Thomas Oliver says, our podcast is brilliant and was wondering if we will review any Ring of Honor shows or wrestlers. So this is on the episode where we announced that I will be reviewing Lucha Underground, or some weeks me and Matt will be reviewing Lucha Underground, and then we have to say to you, probably not. Right? It's one of those things where, firstly, thanks for the compliment, Thomas, we do appreciate that, but it goes under the same sort of thing where it's a bit, it's even hard, it's hard to get Ring of Honor outside of the US. Like,
I've got a website.
Oh, so you've been watching a bit, have you? Okay.
No.
I
just know it's on the website that I use.
Okay. Well, I find it quite hard to find, genuinely. Because it's outside of the country, we've got no way of getting to it. We have to look at sites, maybe even YouTube clips that sometimes have put it up. So sometimes it's quite hard to do. It is a shame because I'd love to review the show, but the lack of international distribution sort of stops us from doing so. And we may say, well, you're doing Lucha Underground. We started reviewing Lucha Underground before Ring of Honor, so in the pecking order, Lucha has to come first. That's just the way it is. I've got no issue with Ring of Honor, and like I said, if we had more time to dedicate, then I'm sure that we would give more time to be able to view it, but it's just the case that, being able to find those episodes on a weekly basis, especially as their future, along with TNA's on Destination America, isn't exactly confirmed, that could be awkward. If they do a big event, what is Ring of Honor's big event? Is it like it's? I
can't remember what it's called now. They do have.
I think it's like Death or Dishonor, right? It was something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you tell me, Thomas. You tell me what their big event is. I promise you, we will make great efforts to try and view their big pay-per-view of the year. Absolutely, right? We'll try and do that with any show that people want to watch. We'll make the extra effort to try and catch that, but on a weekly basis, probably not for now. That is. Zeokage has a group of questions for us. First of all, they hope that Xavier Woods keeps up the randomness in his gimmick, and that has entertained everyone so far.
I mean, to be fair, this goes back to us last week when was it last week, or I know it could well have been actually on the pay-per-view review where we were just like, we love the New Day.
Right. I mean, I'm sure someone will pick up the early episode of us talking like this is fucking like 50 episodes ago, right? When we were talking about the New Day, it's like it's not working, it's boring, it's just not getting over. And all they had to do was just flick that switch and become heel, and suddenly, bada boom, right? Realest guys in the room in this sense, right? That they become amazing, right? And I tell you what, Matt, I have to give you props here in regards to this. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Do you remember when we first started talking about NXT recruits, and you were the one mostly watching NXT? Because remember, I was reviewing TNA, and you were looking at NXT and giving your thoughts on that. And obviously things have changed since then. Myself and Matt do try and catch NXT. We do the NXT report card each week, so it's changed. You said when Xavier Woods came up, I knew nothing about the guy, but the one thing that you said to him was, well, at very least, he's got bags of charisma. Well, I tell you right, Matt, you were fucking right. You're not. Jesus. He's got charisma to boot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that if there's like a yin and yang, you've got Lance Storm here, and you've got Xavier Woods over here, right? It's just, and one's white and one's black. It kind of works, that, you know, the way it is. That would be quite the tag team, wouldn't it? Lance Storm, and right, that would be fun, right? Still, I'm sure even Xavier Woods may even try it. May even get, you know, Storm to crack a smile here and there, maybe. I don't know, actually. I don't know if he can smile, Lance Storm. Can he? Have you ever seen the man smile?
No, I don't think he can.
No, I don't. I think it's been so long. I don't think he lost his smile. That's what happened to him. Shawn Michaels needs to tell him how to get it back. That's what he needs to do. But yeah, Matt's initial assessment, obviously, you look at it now, is bang on. So I give you an aerial high five.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you take that. Awesome. He's got two questions for us here. I don't know who it is, a he or she, but I'll just go he. He asks if Cena should have debuted a new finisher instead of trying to convince people that his AA is actually a finisher again. You know, in regards to them trying to, you know, everyone kicking out of the moves. That's what we kind of regarded to at the pay-per-view recording, right? That he beat Seth Rollins, and even this week, he beat Seth Rollins with a single solitary AA when it's taken 2, 3 at times to take people down. I mean, I'm sure Kevin Owens took like 3 in a match, and it was only the third that actually beat him.
He's definitely taken his more than his fair share in a match.
Yeah, right, and he's been kicking out of him left, right, and centre. I wouldn't give him a new finisher because it's sort of the line of, it's not so much the finisher that's the problem, it's WWE's use of it and their damage of the perception of it. They just need to educate people that move finishes people in one hit. If they go back, I mean, it'll be really shitty for Seth Rollins if he goes back and just starts beating people just with one AA. With like 3 AAs, and Seth Rollins is the only one who gets beaten with a solitary AA. So maybe they're making a concerted effort here. I actually agree with what they're doing for now. That may shock a few people. They should be having one finishing move finish people. It's only at the big events, at like the WrestleManias, that you do that sort of stuff, right? And you get the shock factor. Now it's not shocking anymore. I agree with what they're doing, but it's going to hurt them for a while because of the oversight that they made. I mean, what do you think? Should Cena have a new finisher, or do you think like they should?
I think it's too late to even consider giving him a new finisher.
He should better not fucking have that springboard stunner. I will freak if that is his new finisher. That is.
If they decide that will do.
Yeah, I think he stopped using it. I can't remember the last time he used it. I remember we had like a really scathing review, if you remember, and like I since then, I haven't seen him do it since then. I think it was the first match he had with Rollins. I'm not sure. Maybe it was even before then.
I can't even remember. He's definitely it's definitely disappeared.
Right. And you know what?
I think Austin's had some words.
I mean, he's talked more shit about that move than anyone, and guess what? He's in the best position to do so because
I was going to say, if there's anyone in the world who has a right to say, to say anything about a stunner.
Yeah, it's old Steve, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not doing it anymore. Jesus. And the fact is that was damn near finishing people at one point. I don't think he ever did it right. He did it for, was it like 3 or 4 months? He tried to add it into his arsenal. I can't even remember one time where he nailed it and I thought, you know what, he hit that pretty good every time.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's like, nope.
Every single time. It was an utter fail. Every time. And it comes to a point that maybe they thought, it's just everyone else. Cena's infallible. Everyone else is fucking up. And then suddenly the entire roster's fucking it up. And they have to look like, maybe it is Cena doing it. That's the issue. And still, there you Finishing moves by General, this is by Paul Heyman's statement, are just a matter of perception. Doesn't matter what the finish is, doesn't matter how simple it is. All it is that you treat it as if it's a big deal, and you educate your audience to think when this move is hit, the match is done, right? And doesn't matter what it is. Like, that's the reason why DDT was a finisher for Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yep.
That the super kick was a finisher for Shawn Michaels.
I mean, fuck, everyone's kicking out of a super kick. Or everyone's able to do a super kick these days. It seems.
A super kick is like a move that doesn't even floor people sometimes now. You know, it's that's the one thing I'll say to the Young Bucks. I know the Young Bucks have got a lot of fans. It's quality, not quantity. That's what I would say to them, right? In terms of getting the fans involved. You know, if you get the fans to pop big time after building this big crescendo and then finally using the super kick, that's always going to be better than you using 50 in one match. It's just the way it is, right? So, still. And he has another question just to round off the fan feedback here. He asks if WWE should ban if WWE will ban the buckle bomb due to Sting's injury, and whether or not we think that it should be banned.
No.
I'll let you go first then. Go on.
No and no.
No and no. Why?
Because, I mean, the thing is, they actually put it down to they actually... I've read an interview with Sting, and he was just sort of like, even he doesn't put it down to the buckle bomb.
Well, he says that's definitely part of it.
Oh, it's probably going to be a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's the first person to really get injured by it? If you could say that.
Yeah, I mean, if a move's dangerous, right, and you don't even need people to get injured by it, but it just needs to be dangerous enough. I don't view the buckle bomb as dangerous, personally.
No, not at all.
If it's done by someone that's fucking like decimating you into that corner, let's say you had someone like Mason Ryan doing it as a finisher. He's sloppy, he's green, and he's literally he's not throwing you into the corner. He's actually powerbombing you into it.
It's like a jackknife powerbomb into the...
Yeah, right. Then you say you stop doing that right away. But Seth is quite safe. Right, my answer is exactly the same as Matt. No and no. WWE won't ban it because they'll more than likely point to the fact that Sting
But they can't take that many things out of Seth's arsenal.
Yeah, Jesus, he won't have any moves left. He'll have the entire Triple H moveset. That's what he will have left. And but yeah, WWE will point to Sting's age. He's closer to 60 than he is 50. And I know Vince apparently was very, very impressed by his work rate, and so was I, by the way. But come on, right? So regardless of whether or not it's dangerous, I don't believe it's dangerous. Another incident may cause Vince to think differently, right? But for now, I think it's okay. It's just people closer to 60 than 50 shouldn't be taking two of them, and they shouldn't be going through uncleared tables. I don't think. Obviously, the second buckle bomb did have a lot to do with it. But like you said, Sting said that the numbness and tingling in his hands and feet had started before that particular moment.
Yeah.
So I think it was a catalogue of a lot of big bumps that he had taken throughout the course of that match. So
the other thing I quite like is actually on that interview they were saying like how like they got backstage and like Rollins was feeling really bad but also marking out at the same time sort of thing.
Yeah, I like that
bit. And there was just Sting just sort of like, I like this kid.
Yeah. By the way, like if you go and watch that small interview that they did with WWE.com, literally, by no words, I'm not exaggerating. Sting called Seth Rollins the best person he's ever had a match with.
Yeah.
For a guy who worked as long as he did, fucking hell, that's a big compliment. Even the guys at WWE.com are like, "Do you realize how big of a compliment that is?" And he's like, "I'm absolutely 100% sure he's the best guy I've ever had a match with."
Yeah.
And you know what? Seth is good. You can't get around that. He is very, very good. And I'm sure that Seth probably was, Sting was probably one of his favourites. I think he said along the lines of that he used to dress up like
it's
Sting.
Halloween or something, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm sure that he felt horrible about it. But guess what? It's not his fault, right? Whoever came up with the idea for that match, even Sting, it may even be his fault to a T that maybe he came up with the idea of taking all these bumps. I don't think it's Seth's problem at all. I really don't think it's. Well, he will look at it as his problem. I don't think it's his fault. Yeah, I think he couldn't have done it any safer. He's 56, guys, right? He did fantastic. He was phenomenal in that match. He did things that I didn't think people that age could do.
Yeah.
But he is 56. Father Time makes a fool of us all, right? Eventually, myself and Matt, when we're we're the same age as Sting and we're still doing this podcast, our voices will be raspy. We'll be on episode 5 billion probably by then, and you know, we won't sound as good as we do now, shall we say, because we'll probably forget, you know, a lot of this. I'm not saying that. Oh man, that just makes it sound bad. Like 56, at the age of 56, people go crazy. I'm just saying Sting's amazing for his age. Myself and Matt, I don't think we'll be on his level at that age. So
No.
I think we can safely assume that anyway. So it will still be moaning about the Divas Revolution when we're, you know, we're 30 years older than what we are now. NXT report card. Is there any other stuff that you want to talk about in regards to that stuff, or you got any questions from
nothing else to.
the traitor?
No, nothing else at all.
We haven't given the traitor any time yet to make his other. He knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name. Yeah,
He hasn't.
He who shall not be named. I'm only joking, by the way, Dan. It's fine. I'd be really bad if somebody sends a tweet going, "Is Tony okay?" No, I'm just joking. Everything I say,
He's just being an asshole.
I'm just being an asshole. That's what it is. Matt knows me too well. You know, that's the way it is. NXT report card. We're going to be talking about one guy today, and yes, we're going to talk about Asuka, as they're calling her now. Obviously, we can't really report what she did. She wasn't here. Matt, I know you've been very busy this week. You haven't been able to catch much. Did you catch NXT at all this week?
No, I haven't seen anything this week.
You didn't. Just for guys knowing, Matt's been colossally busy over the course of this week. In fact, so much so that we're recording this a lot earlier. I get it off a lot easier, Matt. You're a machine when it comes to your workplace. I will tell you that now. So it's just the way it is. So Bull Dempsey is what we're going to be talking about now. Matt has caught enough of Bull Dempsey to give his thoughts, even though he had a match this week. You've caught Bull Dempsey in his Bull Fit gimmick, so
I've seen Bull Fit.
Yeah, you've got. I'm satisfied that you've seen enough of him to give a decent grade that would last. The only thing that you missed this week was a match between himself and Tyler Breeze, which Tyler Breeze won through cheating, putting his foot up on the ropes like a good heel, right? So. Bull Dempsey. One of the things that obviously he's doing now, he's doing that Bull Fit gimmick. So now he's coming out, when it comes up with his entrance, comes up Bull, everyone else shouts Fit, so they're all going, the fans are very much into it. Not as if they need much to get.
I was going to say, the fans are loving it, because it almost loading English.
Yeah.
Just before... It almost sounds like they're saying bullshit.
Yeah, a little bit, which is awesome, right? Just before, I just remembered this, and I'm going to forget it, and I'm just going to say it quickly. I know it's got nothing to do with Bull Dempsey. Eve Marie was on this show. She's all read everything. Why is she wearing blue? Anyway, let's move on.
Because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and they're making a gimmick now out of this thing of, oh, she got pinned for 3, but the referee isn't counting it, sort of thing. So they're trying to make it like a mini gimmick out of it, which is awful, but we won't go into that.
You're fucking me.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not. Anyway. The commentators are playing up that this is the most groundbreaking workout regimen, the Bull Fit regimen, of which we don't know anything about the regimen apart from lots of people at NXT told him to do certain things, in that segment. So, I mean, that's all well and good, but Bull Dempsey's thighs rippling after every slight move is mesmerizing. So,
I'm just thinking that, like the old Simpsons episode, it's like when Homer's on the treadmill. It's like, yes, it's like a lava lamp.
What's the meaning of this test? No meaning. He just needed to work out.
He needed to lose some weight.
Yeah. And I'm happy for Bull, right? Because the way he was going before this new Bull Fit gimmick, he was going to get fired. He was going to get released. There was no way about it. It wasn't working. They were trying to make him seem like a badass, but he was getting fed to Baron Corbin. He doesn't have the face for a badass. He looks like a happy, tubby guy, right? Look,
like,
really.
See Braun Strowman problem.
Yeah, right. Well, I think even Braun Strowman can get... He's far more intimidating than Bull Dempsey could ever hope to be.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm going to lay up a little bit of a statement here. I have never really been sold on Bull Dempsey. I've never been impressed.
You've never been a true Bull fan?
No, right? And I am happy for him because he's got a role now. He's got a comedy role. He seems to be enjoying it. At least that gives him an application going forward. But that's the most I can ever see happening for the guy. And like I said, from everything I've seen, he looks like a lovely guy. But being a nice guy doesn't entirely translate to entertaining TV sometimes, right? Austin was one of the biggest draws in professional wrestling history, and he was a dick. In fact, everyone loved him for being a dick, right? He was a dick to everyone, right? So, you know, sometimes the way it is. I mean, I'm not saying that's particularly reason, right? That he can't beat Austin, so he'll never succeed. You know, I'm just saying in general, right? What's your thoughts on Bull Dempsey? Because maybe you take to him a little bit better than I do. I don't know.
I am aware of Bull Dempsey. I think that's really all I can say.
You're trying your best not to be too negative.
I can't get sold on him.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's happening, it's like I can't be won over.
At least he's got the fans chatting for him and stuff. I mean, he could be in a far worse position, making it seem far bleaker than it is. But like I said, I mean, at very least now he fulfills a role for NXT. Okay, that'll keep him a job, but that's the most he'll ever be.
Funny tubby guy.
Yeah, right. And sure, he can be happy, but he'll never be a star, right? Well, that's harsh in itself, right? But I never see him getting called up to the main roster to do this bull fit stuff. So that's just the way it is. I don't know. Like, do you think there's anything else that Dempsey could do to break the mold he's in, or do you think just what he's doing now is the only way he can stay employed? I mean, that's the feeling I get.
Kind of it.
Yeah.
Terrible to think.
Yeah. I mean, man, if we can't come up with good ideas that come up with Bull Dempsey, then WWE have got no chance. Let's just say that, right? So, what's your grade for Bull Dempsey?
Can't say I really have a grade for Bull Dempsey. He's solid enough. He does the big guy, but not like. He doesn't do like the usual big guy gimmick, like moveset. Sorry, like similar to like I have a little bit of a problem. Like as much as I'm a massive fan of Colin Gast,
just doesn't really do it for you.
No.
I mean,
I could give him a C.
Okay. That's higher than what I gave him, but not by much. I gave him a C minus.
Yeah.
He's got a role. He's now got a. He can be applied in certain storylines and situations, and he can do a match. I don't think there's anything more than that, but at least he's useful for that roster to fill it out a little bit. So I'm not going to give him a D or anything lower than that. Yeah, C minus. I think, man, it's better than what we gave him before. I mean, we were on a lot more scathing. We said that this guy was heading straight for the unemployment line the way it was going. Yeah. So at very least, it's up on where he was, you know. So there is that. Let's talk about Asuka. And yeah, her name is spelled Asuka, but apparently they're calling it Asuka. I don't know how it's done. I may even be saying that wrong, but that's just the way they kind of said it here on this show. I don't know if there's any certain way. So I'm just going to call it Asuka. It's almost like you take the U out, and that's basically what it is. It's not so much a report card. We're not giving her a grade. I just want to talk about her debut here, right? Because she is someone that I've said could kick the wrestling into a few of these women, right? That she's a very stiff worker. You watch matches involving her as Kana. She's a stiff worker, right? Yeah. She is a wrestler, right? She is not a diva. She is a wrestler. So she comes out. I'll explain it for Matt here as he hasn't seen it. She comes out business suit, but she's got the mask on. Obviously, it's got Kana up on the screen. You know the way they do they did the Devitt and it turns to Finn Balor. Kenta turns to Hideo Itami. It's the same thing, right? But it turns into, Asuka as it is now. So she takes it off. And then she did a thing where she kind of like danced around the ring. She's throwing up her fist going, yeah, trying to get the crowd into it, which I thought, okay, that's not exactly the Asuka as I've seen her, as Kana. She was very much trying to get the crowd into it here, being very entertaining, if you will. I didn't have a problem with it. It was just...
The thing is, though, you say this, but I'm thinking stereotypical sort of happy Japanese...
That's kind of what it is. And she's got the big eyes, right? She is a animator's dream, right? If they want to animate an Asuka, like, fucking, animation of her adventures in WWE, you got the big eyes, right? The Japanese big eyes that they love in those animations and stuff like that. So, She's a good-looking girl, by the way. I do think so. She's got her hair pink now. She had it a lot darker when she was shown at Takeover Brooklyn. She's got it like pink with some strands of blonde and stuff like that. So it gives her a unique look. No one else is doing just pure pink. So fair play to her. But she comes in, she signs her contract, she speaks a little bit of English, saying she's happy to be at NXT. If you watch like the Hideo Itami stuff, she was a little bit better than he was. Not much
I was about
better.
to ask that, actually.
She wasn't much better, but I've got no problem with that. Like, she's serviceable. And a lot of what I see you would do with Asuka doesn't involve her talking that much. So I'm not as bothered.
Apparently she's like started off a feud straight off the bat with like Emma and Dana.
She has. I'll get into that in a second. Which, when it comes to Dana Brooke, I hope she kicks the wrestling into that woman, right? Because I think Dana Brooke has potential. Is that she's of a mindset which I will admit is changing for the better, but it still is not quite there. But man, if there's anyone to kick the wrestling into someone, I want that to be the term. I want Asuka to kick the wrestling into Eva Marie. So I want Asuka to kick Eva Marie so hard that she doesn't fear getting kicked ever again. That's what I want. That would ideally be an awesome thing. That Eva Marie doesn't flinch every time that she gets a kick or a punch thrown her way. You know, she gets kicked so much she's desensitized by getting kicked. Right. That's essentially what I want. So what happens here is that she signs her contract, shakes William Regal's hands, and as you say there, Matt, Dana Brooke and Emma come on out. Emma, by the way, just looks stunning when she's in her evil Emma mode. Just brilliant.
We like evil Emma.
Yeah. They come on down. Emma's like, you know, they're basically hamming up, like, you know, you do realise that we own this division, and we are going to tell you to leave. We want you to leave right now. You can do whatever you like once you leave, but this is our ring. Get the fuck out. And you know what Asuka does? She doesn't flip the table and punch them. She leaves. And some people may be going, what? Oh my god, that's horrible. They ruined her. She's awful. Bar this one. And sometimes it's in the small little minute details and the way that she did it. When she walks up to the ramp looking defeated and all the fans are like, what the fuck are you doing? Just go in there and fight.
Oh, is that where I've seen the picture where she's got like the dirtiest evil glare?
That's right. She looks back and it's the slightest smile. It's a smile that says, you bitches don't even know what the fuck you started. That's exactly what the look said to me. And it's that small bit that changes this being like oh, fucking hell, what were they thinking, into, yes, now I'm excited. Because it's not, it's along the lines of Asuka isn't stupid. She's not going to fight two people. She's going to bide her time. It's a mental thing. She's going to wait until these two women make the mistake. She's going to go after them. They don't know what they've started with Asuka, right? Asuka will finish it in the way she wants to finish it. That's the way I looked at it, right? That it was like, you guys don't even know what you've done, right? And that was almost what the smile, right? It's like, you're so mindless. You don't know what you've done by coming out and ruining my moment, but you will know about it very soon. So I thought that slight little thing, and NXT often can be about those very small, minute details that changes a bad segment into a segment that you're excited to see what happens after it. So, you know, that's what I'm really excited for. And guys, if you haven't seen her matches, go view them. They are fantastic. Her arsenal is impressive. Some of the moves she does is very hard hitting, very stiff. But guess what? That's what NXT needs at the moment. They've got too many women at the moment coming up. Some of the new ones, even Blue Pants to a degree, doesn't go there. You know, I remember that slap that she did on Alexa Bliss at Brooklyn. It looked awful, right? I'm sure Kana was looking at that like, just slap the shit out of the woman. Just do it, right? And she will do it. She might make a few enemies behind the stage. I don't give a shit, because I think that this woman will do fine. I hope we get to see this woman in action in London. And if she does, myself and Matt will be more than happy to watch that match. So, I'm sure she'll... Come on, she has to wrestle at London, surely. You know, she arrives on it. Maybe that'll be the match that she has. Come on. Has to be, sure. Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fish for things here, Matt.
They should have to.
Reassure me. I want to see her perform. She'll be there. Okay. So yeah, I think this is awesome. A really great start. And it kind of plays off of the thing of, you know, you expect it to go one way, it goes somewhere else, and it's better for that, the whole segment. Her actually leaving. But that last little look, that little wry little smile. Brilliant. Awesome. Matt, are you ready to talk about Raw?
I am ready to talk about Raw.
Are you ready? I don't feel good enough to do the the Michael Buffer intro, so I won't even attempt it. I already Rick rolled you, so I can't do that.
I thought you were going to go with like the Triple H sort of like, you.
Well, it was Michael Buffer who did that first. Triple H just ripping him off.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Raw here. We are going on a little bit over time, so I may skip some bits here, but you guys have come to know that by now. So we're coming off Night of Champions. A few rivalries ended, a few carried on, which I'm talking about the Lana Rusev sort of, Ziggler, that carried on. We're now on the route to Hell in a Cell, which, as I said earlier on, I'm sure that makes me quite happy. No more slip of the tongues. You can just say it and not be worried.
That's it.
And the show,
pick it up.
Yeah, the show came from Laredo. I have no clue where that is. So, any of our American fans, if you can let us know where Laredo is.
Yeah, from somewhere.
From Laredo. I don't know where Laredo is. Same way if I were to tell you that, Clonakilty. Do you know where that is in Ireland?
I do not know.
Fuck you do, right? Oh, yeah, do you know where the... come on, loads of other stuff. Like Leicester. Guys, if all American fans, can you pick out Leicester on a map of England?
What
about, yeah... I don't even know how to explain that to people, so I'm not going to, but yeah. Anyway.
There's simple. There's a place in Ireland called a
Gognahoglbrogna, which is how I say it. It's not that way. It's just I like to annoy my wife. I'll maybe let her describe it down the line. I don't know. We're getting really off topic. This is a shameless Irish pay-per-view plot that we're getting here, Matt. And it ain't going to be a humdinger, I'll tell you that much. I fit two in there. Are you proud of that? It's not a proper humdinger though. No, sorry, I'm going to take that one back. With a humdinger has to come from like the bottom of my stomach and all the way up.
Humdinger.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. Oh, you have to do it.
It's more the throat.
Yeah, exactly. And if my throat wasn't hurting, then maybe I'd do it. But still.
Yeah.
See the pain I go through for our fans. Just love you guys. I love you guys. And Matt's coughing all the time. I'm sure that you're dying or something along those lines.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Are you fine? Okay.
I'm good.
Maybe we get comments. Tony wants Matt to die. Like, okay. Yeah. Moving swiftly on from.
You've condemned me to death.
Yeah. The Wyatt family start off the show, which is quite new.
I genuinely thought I was missing some of Raw.
Yes, I was kind of
the
same thing.
Am I halfway through?
I thought we started recording the show, halfway through, and I caught, maybe it cut it off for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, it was the start of the show. Rumour was, obviously, that Sting was meant to open up the show with a big announcement. I'm guessing maybe it was, I'm having my retirement match at WrestleMania 32, or I'm retiring, one of the two. And clearly he was too injured
guys, last night fucking hurt.
Yeah, essentially, right. So he wasn't there. He went home to obviously recuperate, and I've got no issue with him doing so. He earned his rest, shall we say. Wyatt tells Roman Reigns that he warned him, and then he babbles for a bit. And then Roman Reigns comes down. Without Dean Ambrose this time. Reigns tells Wyatt to send his big uns back to the swamp so they could fight. Doesn't want a referee, they just want a plain old fight. Oh, ass kicker Reigns. There's a part of that still in you somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the part that you should have been all along.
Yeah, it's what you should have been. You were the chosen one, Roman Reigns. We were behind you, damn it. Yeah, but still. Somewhere behind the nursery rhymes before WrestleMania 31 was... Yeah. I can't even believe that was this year when he was pulling that shit. I cannot believe that. It's crazy. I think this is the closest I will get to a match opening Raw, which is what everyone knows I want it to. So there was a fight in the ring. Of course, heels being heels, Strowman and Harper do get involved. Dean Ambrose comes on out. The numbers get on top of them. But then Randy Orton makes his return. Bearing in mind he was only out for, I think, 3 weeks, most. So, not much of a return.
I don't even think that.
Yeah. So he clears the ring. It reminds me that Randy Orton has one of the sexiest drop kicks in the business. The elevation that man gets. He is a hell of an athlete. You take it for granted sometimes with Orton, but the elevation he gets on those drop kicks, he's damn near vertical to like Harper's head. It's bonkers, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's just how good he is at doing it. But yeah, a bit of action to start off the show. I'll take it over. I'll take it over a lengthy diatribe from Seth Rollins. As much as I do.
Hell, at least it wasn't the Authority.
Yeah, I'll take that. Speaking of Rollins, though, he speaks to the Authority after this segment, but it's actually Corporate Kane, who's acting as if nothing happened. He's just back at work, just doing his thing. He's got a mug saying "World's Greatest." What's his job? It's operations officer.
Director of Operations.
Yeah, Director of Operations, whatever. So he's got that on a mug, which is great. And yeah, if he had said, "I'm going to kill you, Rollins," then this would have been just an ordinary segment. But the fact that he was acting so normal, even overhamming it, he was ecstatic to see Rollins and go, things didn't work out so well, but I'm back at work. I'm excited to see you. It's going to be awesome. And that is the creepiest thing for Rollins to see. So it actually worked. It was a bit of comedy here that I actually enjoyed, which I haven't said too much on Raw in general. Did you like the way that they're hamming this up?
This.
Yeah, and like I said, Rollins is looking at him like he's seen a ghost. He's like, okay, sure, I'm going to go find Triple H and Steph, and I'm gonna
go now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. He's got the look that he doesn't understand what in the red hell is going on.
Just happened,
right? Yeah, just happened. Kane schedules his US title rematch for the night, so we get a rematch from the pay-per-view. There was one of a few on this show. And as soon as I saw the direction here, it kind of put to bed me being worried that they're trying to sell the demon aspect of Kane. It's more Kane playing mind games here, right? He's not. Yeah. They're calling him the Demon Kane, but it's not like they're trying to say this guy could destroy us. Well, they are actually, but to me, it came off a little bit differently. It's the man Kane playing mind games with the champ, right? And it worked. Acting as if nothing happened, yeah. I thought, comedically, in terms of storyline, I actually give them a thumbs up for the direction here. That feels so fucking weird to say, considering it's but still. Lucha Dragons and Neville versus the Cosmic Wasteland. A match that says, yep, we know you didn't watch the pre-show, so here you go. Sort of thing, We know you didn't watch it. So we're going to do it again. Matt, there is magic in this match. Do you know why?
Why is that?
The magic of Botch Caro remains.
He lives?
He lives. And it came through. Sin Cara has been doing so well, not botching, but it's just him. That mask has magic. Ancient botching magic within that mask. He comes off a springboard here and absolutely fucks it up. Ends up A over T. And, Sin Cara, everyone.
Completely.
It's the legacy of botching. They've even replaced the guy. And it still happens from time to time.
And he still fluffs it.
I'm sure it's a curse. I'm sure it is.
It's the mask. It must be.
It must be. It must be the mask. So, and as we know, as JBL says, Sin Cara in English means botch. But, or whatever he wants it to say whenever he comes up. The Kalisto hot tag here should be the weekly occurrence. It is amazing and it's fun and the crowd get into it. So. It's criminal, and I say that word a lot, that it hasn't been used more often. But that's just the way it is. And Kalisto gets the win. The Selena Del Sol on Victor.
The Selena Del Sol was a bit...
It was a bit off. Well. Yeah, it was a bit sketchy. He still pulled it off, though. It didn't look nearly as bad as falling off the ropes.
Like, this isn't the first time Victor's taken this move, and now he's decided upon himself, I'm going to, turn and rotate. And it's no. This, I genuinely thought it wasn't going to be a Del Sol. I thought it was just going to be something else that they just thought, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things, isn't it? I don't think it was Kalisto's fault. I think it was Victor. But regardless of that, it didn't look horrible. It just didn't look right?
Yeah, that's fair way.
Yeah. That match with Lucha Dragons and Neville getting the win kind of renders the complete, Cosmic Wasteland getting their win at the pay-per-view void. So... There's that. You have a match. We have a match philosophy that gets absolutely no one ahead in their storyline. So there we go. Unless you're John Cena and you'll win 2 out of 3 matches no matter what you're in. So there you go. Rollins backstage. He meets with Triple H and Steph. Just says, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Kane. They tell him we'll deal with it. Ryback and Bo Dallas have a match with the new Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens out on commentary. and he is happy to flaunt his championship. Bo Dallas even congratulates him on it.
Mm-hmm.
It says that Ryback, he did believe. He did believe. And it wasn't that held Ryback back. He's just never will be better than Owens.
It sounds so funny when you say Ryback back.
Ryback back. Yeah. It's like baby, right? It's kind of soothing to the soul. I was looking through old episodes of ours, and episode 3, I think it is, and we called it Ryback's always a laxative. I still laugh at that. I'm sure most people don't, and to be honest, I totally agree, but for some reason it just gets me a little bit, so. Ryback back.
Ryback back.
Still not as bad as Ruru, but there we are. Of course, Owens is on commentary, which means it's gold.
It's just like so good because it's just more like Byron Saxton, like Kevin Owens banter that we loved on NXT. Not to mention
bullying.
Well, yeah. But then it's also like more of him picking on Cole, and then it's just like, oh, you don't care about other champions. Like, sure I do. Like, JBL's a great one.
Yeah, exactly right. You got JBL, but this is where these sort of things, this kind of reminded me a little bit, man. It pains me to say this. It's not as good, nowhere near as good as this, but it reminds me of the fact when you had Bobby Heenan always being on the heel side, and even celebrating with them when they won matches and stuff like this, and he would always be on some people's side, So yeah, the back and forth between JBL, backing his man, and Owens backing him instead. Sometimes they'll do a heel and it'll be completely Owens is good because on NXT he does the same thing with Graves. He's like, oh, Graves is a great guy. I love Graves. He's awesome because he's a heel commentator, right? Sometimes they have heels come out and they just completely talk over the heel commentator, which at certain points is okay if you're a big beastie guy. But if you're a talker like Kevin Owens, then no, take everything you can, right? But he's gold. He's gold here. So, bar a chin lock by Bo Dallas, this was a squash match for Ryback. After the match, there was exactly 1 second after the 3 count of Ryback winning that Owens attacks him, but then he gets floored with it by a meat hook and then scurries away with his championship. There will be a rematch, probably at Hell in a Cell. That's probably the way I see it going. So. And the rematch, Owens will win, and he'll go into a rivalry, hopefully with someone that he can do, obviously people are saying that down the line, when a certain Sami Zayn is ready to come back, that he could be a future rival for him. Sure, it works. I've got no problem with that.
Do you know what? I've been really missing Sami Zayn recently.
Yeah, so have I.
I don't know. It's been really terrible but it's also really terrible because at one point I genuinely went, where the hell has he? Oh, he got injured.
Yeah, he's been out for a very long time, hasn't
he?
And even the time before he was injured and going out, he wasn't even around that much because if you remember, he was doing the tours and stuff. So even before he got injured,
he was also doing the angle of that Kevin Owens proper fucked him up.
Yeah, so he wasn't around that much, was he, at all? I mean, he was away for weeks, Like a good month after he got beaten for the championship, he didn't even make an appearance, right? All he had was these videos on his phone that he was doing in the middle of nowhere.
It's like, hey guys, I'm at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, and believe me, Sami Zayn will do great business for them when he comes back. But it's just a matter of getting healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything to be done. I don't think you need to put him back in NXT, Sami Zayn. You just put him on the main roster. He's already had his match against John Cena, and the matches he can have with Kevin Owens will easily put him on the map. So that's fine.
Oh yeah.
I
just love the one thing. It's almost like the one thing everyone should see is just sort of like, oh, I don't know about Cesaro. Well, oh, I don't really know about this Sami Zayn. Well, you have doubts about the pair of them. There's some wonderful matches I need you to see.
Yeah, exactly. And you just go to NXT and watch them. You don't have to go far. I mean, obviously they've had great matches before then, but it's on the network. It's on the network. You can go watch it now. They're 2 matches. I mean, even the match when he was injured, he pulled out a great performance, Zayn. So, still good stuff. We move on to Charlotte's Divas Championship celebration. And when it's time to celebrate, Ric Flair knows how to get a party started. Maybe not in the PG environment, but outside of office hours, shall we say. The limousine riding, jet flying. I'm even doing the arm pats as we speak, so getting into it there. He gets a thank you chant when he talks about his joy of winning the championship once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and he says it's a lot. It meant even more to him than falling in love once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I laughed. That was pretty good. You have to laugh at all your divorces. Yeah. I still remember that.
Do not have a laugh at that.
I still remember his story about I think it was his latest divorce, about he was talking to John Cena and his wife was like, "Do you not think that you wouldn't have anything to talk about?" And he was like, "You'd be surprised all the things we can talk about." And that kind of apparently led to their divorce or something like that. So.
Oh yeah.
He's had a lot of relationship issues. Has
It's like
Rick?
You're a 60-year-old man and he's half your age. What have you got to talk about? Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, a hell of a lot, right? When she says stuff like that, it makes you think, really, why did she have a problem? She sounds a little bit like a bitch. It was kind of going a little bit crazy. So Charlotte comes on out. She's won the title, so she comes out with the championship. Oh, Ric Flair before this, by the way, reminds everyone that Charlotte winning the belt was completely over her own volition and her own effort. And while I believe that, and I know Matt believes that as well, they are pushing the boat a little bit by having Flair so closely associated to her recently.
Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of fans believe that the only reason she was put in that position was because of her lineage. Especially fans who don't watch NXT, and there is a lot of them, right? I don't know how many viewers NXT gets, but I'd be shocked if it's anywhere close to 500,000, right? That's just, I would be very shocked if that was the case. It's on the network, it's a niche market, right? So, still. PCB come on out. Becky Lynch is looking more and more like a pirate every day. I don't know if you call that up. She looked like she was the sidekick for Paul Burchill during his swashbuckling days. I still remember that entrance of him jumping in with a rope and with his pirate gear, and yeah, pirates, sure. But she looked like Jack Sparrow. She looked like Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, really.
Oh yeah.
Except a much sexier version, but still, you get what I'm counting. Yeah. Charlotte goes on to thank everyone for winning the championship. Her father, Becky Lynch, Paige. And by design, it gets to a point where it gets a little bit too much. And like I said, that's by design. They meant it to be that way. Because Paige starts firing back.
Yep.
And she uses one of the most scathing promos she's done, and easily the best promo since the Divas Revolution started. And essentially, I will go down all the things she said. She said that Becky Lynch is irrelevant. Charlotte won the title only because of her father. The Bellas are only being on top due to, although she kind of alludes to it, but she's talking about the fact they're with Bryan and Cena.
That's it. Summer and Lana just trying to figure out who the next person they're going to climb.
Yeah, exactly, right. And, Team Bad, basically, just being useless and all these lines. Oh, yeah, and Natalya, she brings up Natalya, says, "Do you even work for the company anymore?" And with all these things that she said, which are awesome, by the way. They got a lot of heat, and it literally just turned it immediately. Wasn't as good as the AJ scathing promo, but it was still good. I'll take it for what it was. But she essentially said what a lot of very angry and frustrated fans against all of these different women would say. What's the first thing they would all say about the Bellas? They're only there because of who they're banging.
Yeah.
About Charlotte, she's only there because of her father. About Becky, she doesn't wrestle often, she's the least. She basically said what all the angry fans about each of these women would say. So, fair enough. I've got no problem with what she said, you know what I mean?
No, all good.
It was a good heel promo.
It will go down as Paige's pipe bomb. I reckon it will.
I thought it was alright. I don't think it was that good.
It's not pipe. It wasn't like.
I don't think she could do.
Not nearly the same level as the infamous pipe bomb.
I don't think she can do better, and it certainly was good. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play down people and getting too excited about it. It was a good promo, and it served its purpose. It was scathing. It did exactly what it needed to. And it felt legit when she was talking about all these things. It felt like she actually meant it also. Fair play to her. Maybe she does feel that way. And you know what? There needs to be a new heel for Charlotte, because after this rematch with Nikki Bella, I've got no intention of her going against the Bella twins again. So By the way, Team Bella come down. They try and trash talk Paige, but there was no way that they were topping what Paige had just said, so it just seemed really lame in response. So that's a little bit like, someone going, well, you know what, where did you get your title? At the toilet store sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nikki says Charlotte will lose to her sister and then lose to herself for the championship at their rematch. And this leads to Charlotte versus Brie Bella. Matt, doesn't Brie look like a dominatrix? Which is fine.
I can't say I noticed.
If Daniel Bryan's into that.
I didn't care.
Do you think Daniel Bryan likes to get whipped? Do you think he likes chains? Do you think he likes to shout no, 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 and then she shouts yes, 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 and going down a shameless one, aren't we here? Yeah, I think
a little bit.
Okay. But she looks like a fucking dominatrix, guys. Look at the picture. She looks like she's a dominator, shall we say? So it looks like she's been strangling her husband, and he asked her for it. So weird. But who am I to judge? They played the same cards that they did here at the pay-per-view, which is a Bella working one of Charlotte's legs, and then Charlotte having basically no offense until the end of the match. A spear, a figure eight, Brie taps out, and she taps out with the enthusiasm of a dying sloth. It's Nikki, when she lost her title, she was banging that mat, telling her to get the fuck off her, and Brie was like,
I don't like this.
So yeah, sure. Sheamus versus Mark Henry. This was a quick match. I'm not really going to talk about it. Kane, I'm just looking over it. I'm like, there's nothing I want to talk about. Kane is backstage.
Well, other than the fact that Mark Henry gets pushed away by the air of a boot.
Yeah, sure.
Woo. And they didn't even hit. Sheamus didn't even hit the bro kick, and Henry still went down.
Well, to be honest, Mark Henry has lost so many matches at this stage of the career. I'm sure that a burst of air in that ring can knock him down kayfabe. So, so the way it is. Kane is backstage. He's playing dumb again. They say, well, you've got the mask. What you doing? And Kane says, what? I don't have the mask. You don't have the mask? Have you lost it? And then he gets all serious and goes, well, that would be a big problem if you lost it. Wouldn't it?
Well, that's going to cause some problems.
He goes off to look for it, and then the segment actually got a round of applause because people actually found it entertaining. So there you go. There's actually a round of applause by the live crowd after this was done. You don't hear that often, so there we go. Paige is talking to Natalya. She says that Natalya's trying to give her some...
Natalya does work here.
Yeah, right. And she's basically trying to impart some wisdom on her, and yeah, that's essentially it. There's not much really else to say here. I'm glad that they remembered Natalya, but I think that she's been busy looking after Tyson Kidd, who damn near almost died, so there may be more to it. So. New Day and Rusev versus the Dudley Boys and Dolph Ziggler. Oh yes, and we get to talk about the New Day. I found various YouTube videos of the New Day dancing to several different songs, and no matter what it was always funny. So that was good. Xavier Woods struggles down to the ring after being tasered. I mean, being put through a table by the Dudley Boys. Yeah.
My only problem is the fact that they were trying to play up that he'd had it hit a point that's sort of like, oh, this giant piece of wood was pulled out of my ass. Like, you landed on your front.
Yeah, how did that happen? Yeah, it's like, he holds up that piece of wood, and it says that apparently it came out from his butt. Wood in his butt. I'm sure that there's some sexual innuendo here, but we're not big on such stiff jokes on this show, so we won't make any reference to that. It's made even worse when he says that, as you said, it's like, from betwixt my cheeks. So he doesn't say that, but it's from between my cheeks. It's just like, okay. Big E says we need to build a big wall around Dudleyville to protect furniture everywhere. And to that, I'm sure DFS signed their petition to do so. So, good for them. By the way, Big E doing his talks, by the way, are just fucking hilarious. Just love it. He's just... I want him to...
the thing I love the most is the fact that he genuinely has had, pastor training. So he's just perfect for it.
I wish that he would say everything, even when he goes to like a pancake shop for pancakes. He's like, "Don't you dare be sour! Put pancakes on my plate and feel my power." It's just going around doing everything like that. That would be awesome. In fact, we need a show of just Biggie doing that. Woods gives us the trombone version of Rusev's entrance theme, which I laughed to. I was wondering what it was, and then it clicked, and I was like,
I was exactly the same. I was like, what is this? Oh.
Seriously, MVP is that trombone. That may even get Wrestler of the Year the way it's going. It's the most entertaining thing on Raw at the moment. It's Xavier Woods and his trombone. This is a decent match, and I thought it was good to have some decent action in the middle of the show, just when things were nosediving just a little bit. Woods takes gives the distraction, which takes a super kick for doing so, but then Rusev takes Ziggler out with these side kick and then wins the match. So making obviously the match that Ziggler won the night prior void, of course, because of the way they're going. Also, one of the bits of this is Summer Rae dancing to the trombone and even using the trombone at one point. So what I'm saying is anything involving that trombone seems to be pretty fucking gold at the moment. So Naomi versus Natalya. That was the next match. This was it was a technically sound match, but it was basically one of the matches you would associate with Natalya. Naomi gets the win with the rear end after a distraction from I think Sasha Banks. I think Tamina did distracted her as well. And I hope they have plans for Natalya. Maybe she does join up with someone. I hope it doesn't go that way, but or maybe she just chooses to be the example, and no matter what happens, she's going to keep fighting alone, and she'll eventually overcome the odds. Something like that. Hopefully they've got a storyline for her. That's what I'm saying. If they just want to involve her, that's not good enough. They need a storyline for Natalya. That would be the best way to do it.
They can't just suddenly like make references of her and then suddenly it's like, and she was here for a little bit just to remind us of her.
Yeah, there's plenty of stories you can do. Do a redemption story. Do a story. If you want to turn her heel, make it so this happens all the time. And she's like, I'm trying to be the example, but none of these girls are getting it, and my career's going down the pan. Maybe I need to beat it into them. That sort of stuff, There's
bitches.
Yeah, right. There's tons of things you could do with Natalya, and I'm not talking about her getting 30 minutes each week. It's just a storyline, something that develops her character. But one can hope. Rollins speaks to Triple H and Stephanie. The Authority are just confident that Kane has gone back to his corporate ways. Rollins having none of it, but then Triple H gets pissed off. They're still teasing that match, and they just say, "Go deal with Cena. We'll deal with all this other stuff." So
yeah.
Big Show versus Cesaro. So the build-up to make Big Show look like a competitor for Brock Lesnar begins. So let's feed him with stars that would be much more interesting in that position to face Brock Lesnar. Like Cesaro. I would much rather see Cesaro against Brock Lesnar, but sure, let's just use Cesaro as just bait for Big Show, just to beat up. It's fine. I thought the match was okay. I get the feeling Cesaro was trying to impress, but a knockout punch from Big Show puts an end to that pretty early. So Big Show gets the pin. It reminds us how badly Cesaro's getting treated. The annoying thing is I can't get angry about it anymore. That's the most frustrating bit of it. It's just like I expect it. Like what did I say about Owens? He's a once in a generation heel. I honestly think Cesaro is a once in a generation talent for what he can do in that ring. And people get sick of me saying it. It's just come on, you can do something else with him. You can do something. Good. He's so good. And he proves everyone wrong when they say he's not entertaining, and he gets fans with their signs. They always get in any of his matches. They always get into because of the stuff he does.
I was like, Jesus! Like the thing is, they say like, oh, nobody likes him. It's just like, what the fuck are all these people with Cesaro sections? Yeah. Like, you don't buy those things. Somebody made them.
Yeah, they're not even merchandise. WWE could probably make a killing having Cesaro shirt fucking towels, right? Cesaro section towels if they wanted to do it along. Because Cena's got his fucking flannel, right? Make something along those lines. Make a Cesaro section T-shirt. WWE can make a killing, but yet they're choosing not to, right? So that's the bottom line of it there. After the match, Big Show, tells the crowd to boo him, and says that the match was a message to Brock Lesnar. And he brings up Survivor Series 2002, where Big Show beat him for the World Championship. He obviously doesn't state that a certain Paul Heyman helped him to do so, but he left that particular nugget of information out. What he said.
Nah.
He says he's a threat to anyone, anytime he's in the ring, and then Lesnar will think he's in hell when it comes time for their match. I actually thought it was a decent promo from Big Show. He showed some emotion. He was into it. But, I mean, come on, we've already had like a Big Show Lesnar thing. When I think about it even more, I'm more frustrated that they didn't.
The last time it happened, Lesnar put Show through an announce table.
Yeah, right. He had that massive chair. Do you remember that? It was like 3 times the size of a normal chair. And he started using
fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And the match that never actually became a match. It was basically just a beat down and then Lesnar left. So, but yeah, you look at Cesaro, I'm like, come on. When is Cesaro in that situation? That would have been fun. That would have been really fun, but they chose not to go with it. So, Wyatt has a Tron promo. Harper starts off speaking so quietly that I couldn't hear him. So, there is that. He goes on to say that Wyatt saved him. Strowman says, they're talking about Randy Orton in general, by the way. He says that he caught a snake once, he skinned it, and then drank his blood. It's still a better diet than the likes of Bear Grylls. So, yeah. And this, like I said,
thinking just like stupid vampire, just like I want to suck your blood.
I want to suck his blood. Like I said, the whole promo was aimed towards Orton, who does not, in fact, drink his own pee. So there is something going for that.
Yeah.
You know. Maybe Bear Grylls against Strowman. That would be a match that might excite the fan base going forward, but who knows. Rollins versus Cena, which is the main event of the show for the United States Championship. This is Rollins' rematch after losing it the night prior. And as much as I appreciated the effort in this match, I mean, Matt, it's just shadowed by the fact that we already saw the match the night prior, and the match at Night of Champions was better. Was it not?
Yeah.
Did you not? Did you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was good to see again, and not to say that they didn't perform.
Yeah.
But well, yeah. Like, what difference does a day make? Not really.
Yeah. I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? That I'm not saying that they hold out for another week. They're obviously trying to get this out of the way. They're trying to get it done and dealt with, and along these lines. It's just that if you had one main event of Rollins versus Cena, and then you do it the night after, this is the part of the problem that Raw has, is that they're giving people things they've already have had, and not so much they've been sick of. I mean, they have had, the matches with like Sheamus and stuff like that, where they kept wrestling the same people. Yeah, that gets people sick. This is to a lesser extent, but it's still the same match the night after. You have to pace it out a little bit, guys, A single solitary AA beats Rollins, which means that the world champion has taken 2 clean losses for the second night in a row. And then you've got Vince wondering why the likes of Rollins can't be stars like John Cena. My reply to that is it kind of helps if John Cena himself isn't beating them every time they have a match. So.
Yeah. It's like, why can't you be the new John Cena? Then stop having them lose to John Cena.
Yeah, stop making me job to John Cena. That would be useful, After the match, Kane pops up on the Titantron, Corporate Kane, and says that people are lining up to take the world title off of Rollins. People that Rollins would never imagine in their worst nightmares. And then Masked Kane emerges through the ring, the smoke bellowing from the bottom of it. All the lights go red and all that lot. And he drags Rollins into hell, which apparently is under the WWE ring. My only thought of that is maybe we should get some priests in there to exercise the fact that there is demonic area underneath the ring. That.
I mean, what do they need priests for? They got Devon. Devon's a minister.
Yeah, just getting a testify. Demons leave this ring, and you can have a table there. Bubba Ray can be there helping him. Sure,
that's it.
I'll just get Deacon Batista back. He could help out as well. God, some people don't even know about Batista's gimmick before Evolution, and then I have to remind them that he was a deacon, and that
he was the guy carrying Devon's charity bin.
Yeah, around his neck with a chain. Yeah, that was Batista for you. Can't say too much about the guy. He had a pretty stellar career after that. So.
That's it.
And like I said, John Cena was the rap artist. What I do raps, yo, thugonomics, and then You know, he eventually transcended what that was, even though maybe arguably that was more entertaining. But even the likes of Austin, right? The Ringmaster before he came to WWE. Well, when he was in WWE, that was his first gimmick. Sometimes you get handed a shit hand and you just have to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And certainly the likes of Batista and Austin did. But the show ends with Rollins dragged into hell. WWE did show like a clip afterwards of Rollins escaping, but they didn't show that on the show. So as far as we know, Rollins is still in hell. And they call this the reality era, but still. I'm not going to argue with it too much. Sure, there's a lot of problems that you could say with that, but I'm not going to. All in all, Matt, I thought this was a meh show at best, sort of thing.
I would probably say you could watch Paige's promo and then call it a night.
Yeah, right. Watch it if you.
Not to say that the six-man tag match was entertaining.
Yeah, sure, that definitely was. Yeah, but the thing is, the 3 hours, didn't go by that quick, that well for me. And there was a point here I was a little bit like, come on, it's dragging on a little bit now. It's just seeming like a regular Raw. Okay. There was a lot of rematches on the show. A lot of people wrestling each other that have already wrestled each other. There was some good action to be had, but that's the problem with them there. It's it's just the regular WWE chaff that they often put out. That's the issue. But I do appreciate some of the effort put in some of these matches. In terms of our ratio, I say it's a missable show. I'd probably put it under that bracket more so than watch it once. Would you agree with that, or do you think?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'd be good with that. I completely agree.
You can miss it, guys, if you want to. Sure, there's some stuff to be said here, but that's our general consensus on it. Is there anything else you want to talk about the world of professional wrestling this week, or Raw in general, before we wrap this episode up?
No, I honestly can't think of anything.
And you know why? Because we are so fucking, thorough on the show. That's it. We cover everything. That's what we do. Alright guys, if you did enjoy this episode, obviously, if you're new to the channel, then we'd love if you could subscribe, become one of our almost 400 subscribers on the channel. Matt, if they want to tweet us, what is the Twitter handle?
@TalkWrestlePod.
Oh yes, it is. I get excited in my body whenever you say that. It just gets me all right up and into it. If you want to leave any questions, you can leave them on our Twitter or obviously on the comment section below. You can also help us out with a like on the video if you like. Doesn't matter so much, but it does help us a little bit. Share the video to your friends. We'd like to expand. Let us know what your thoughts on the growing of the show, and obviously send your intros for the competition. For a chance to win that T-shirt and some other Let's Talk Wrestling merchandise. You can send that to letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Did I do all the plugs? I'm pretty sure I did.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
I say it each week, and then every now and then I'm worried that I'll miss one, but I'm sure that's it. So thank you guys. We will be catching you next week. It's episode 95, which means we just got over a month away from episode 100. So like I said, it's very important that you send in your submissions for that intro competition for the shirt. And I'm pretty sure that I'll have the final design of the shirt at that point. So I will put up a picture, maybe in the corner or something, of what the shirt is going to look like. I hope you guys do enjoy the design. I've worked on it quite hard. It's been my little baby for the last couple of weeks. Myself and Matt had different things to work on. The shirt design has been my little baby. That's what I've been working on.
That's it.
And I hope I do. I hope you make you all proud, shall we say? That it all comes out well. If I don't, Matt will slap me when he wears it and doesn't like it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Apart from that, we hope you have a great week. I hope you did enjoy Raw. I hope you do enjoy your world of wrestling. Hope you're excited about the future Lucha Underground reviews, which will be found on this channel. 20-minute reviews when season 2 starts up. I'm procrastinating. I'll let you guys get out of here. I'll let us get out of here. It's been fantastic having you guys listen to the show. We appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next time.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.